If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
What are you doing this Thursday night? Why not drop by Sullivan's Steakhouse on Light Street? A fabulous dining room, a sexy bar, jazz music, $5 martinis, and food specials. Seafood, steaks, and value. That's Sully's.
All right, this is Marco Romanell here on WNST.net. The man to my left needs no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. It's the great Bill Ripken, number 3 of the Baltimore Orioles. Bill, how are you doing? I'm doing well. You, obviously, everybody knows about your playing career. I just want to touch a little bit on what you're doing off the field with your brother. I think, personally, that we need to get more use in the baseball. I think not enough American kids out there playing baseball after they get past maybe the age of 12 and all through high school. What have you been doing with Cal, obviously, to help that? And do you think that baseball is dying in America amongst the youth?
Well, I think there's other sports, there's other interests kids have. One of the alarming numbers to me is 12 years ago, 15 million kids played baseball. Today, 10 million kids play baseball. So we're losing some kids, but those 10 million actually play more games than the 15 million did. So if we can get some interest, have the kids understand that it is a game, have the coaches understand that certainly at the youth levels that it's just a game. There'll be plenty of time for that seriousness later. Let's get the kids back playing though, but we've lost 5 million over the past 12 years.
And how, just to touch a little more on that, how do you think baseball can market itself better? Should they just form more, and maybe baseball camps in the inner cities? Just, I mean, with the whole steroid controversy, do you think that's kind of souring kids on baseball as well?
Well, I don't know if steroids are souring kids. I think steroids are souring adults in the game. But I think there's some owners out there that are doing things very well as far as promoting the game at the grassroots levels. I know Artie Moreno out in LA with the Angels is very conscious of getting kids in the ballpark to try to generate interest. I mean, let's face it, kids that play baseball are not all going to grow up and be Major League Baseball players, but they have a chance to be baseball fans for life and pass that down the way it was to me.
All right, this is Marco Romanell here with Bill Ripken on WNST. Bill, you probably pretty much got to live the dream. You and your brother got to play baseball for the great Cal Senior. I know personally I played for my dad my whole life in soccer. I didn't like it that much, but just talk about your experience with your dad, what you learned from him, and how you translate that into teaching kids the fundamentals of the game.
I think myself and Cal learned pretty much everything we knew about the game in baseball. The only thing Dad didn't do that we did was play at the highest level. He spent 37 years in the Royal organization. He was a coach, he was a manager, he was a minor league player, he was a big league scout. So he covered everything. And between us, I guess we have 88 years of professional experience, 50 of those at the big league level. So we paid attention, we were students of the game, and a lot of those things that Dad passed on to us on the minor league field or the big league field, we find ourselves passing on to the kids now.
Certainly, you moved into the media. I've seen you on the MLB network. Was that a natural transition for you? And how is it different viewing the game as a media perspective than when you viewed it as a player?
Well, it's been 11 years since I had the uniform on, and I think since dealing with the kids for those 11 years and teaching the game, now it's easier to watch the game and pick out instructional moments to break down. So I actually think my transition from Major League Baseball into youth baseball and an instruction of baseball has actually helped me so far.
And just touch a little, what do you think of the MLB network? Do you think it could possibly bring baseball back to the forefront? Do you think, that could be something that could be sustained for the next 20, 30, maybe 40 years?
I hope so. They like me a little bit, so I want them to sustain. But I tell you what, if you haven't seen MLB network yet,
I love it.
We have the power to go to any game we want. And if you think about the highlight reel that you would watch typically late night, you know something good's going to happen. If it's bases juice, no outs, there's either a punch out or a home.
Yeah, it's not going to be a ground ball in the second base.
That's why they're showing it. So in this particular case, we have the ability to actually cut into any game we want and actually create a highlight before it's actually been created. So I think the ability for us to do that and not abuse the local stations that are covering those games, just take it in little bits and pieces. I think when we figure it out, I think it's very sustainable, and I think it's going to be great for baseball fans.
You've been around the game your whole life. You were around for the glory days of the Orioles, as I like to call them. You were around the '83 World Series team. Let's talk about the differences between those teams, the good teams in the late '90s, and the current Orioles team. What do you think is the main problem why this team's lost for the last 12 years?
Well, I was part of the team that was very bad, the '88 team. I was also on the '96 team when we go to the playoffs. So I saw both. And the common denominator, I don't care what team you play on, it's the people that stand 60 feet 6 inches away from home plate. If you look back at the old Orioles in their glory days when we were at 420 game winners, think about that. That's 80 wins before the year starts. And you got to figure out how to win 20 more during the rest of the games, and you're going to win. So it all starts on the bump. But I do think that this team is headed in a fairly good direction right now. They have a nucleus of young players that can play as far as positions go. But those young kids down in the minor leagues that are supposed to be able to do this better be able to do this. So it's going to be a long time.
All right, well, I thank you for taking the time. That's all the time I have. Thanks, everybody, for coming out to Donnas Tavern in Dundalk. Hope to see you guys in the finals. Thanks a lot.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.